Nyanza North, so there's Nyanza North, we've looked at the Luo Nyanza at 89%, and then Southern Nyanza, which takes the counties of Kisii, Nyamira, and Migori, we see him doing 64%. So there's a very clear difference between those two candidates across those specific regions. When we look at their assets, these are the things that voters told us. Now, when a voter told us, I will vote for Raila Odinga or William Ruto or Maure, we went ahead and asked a question, why would you vote for this candidate? The points that come out for Raila, we've put them together and they all portend a level of legacy. And we think that is his strongest asset. But in terms of liability, those who would not vote for Raila Odinga, they wouldn't vote for him because of the age factor. Those who would vote for William Ruto, they are voting for a plan. Those who would not vote for William Ruto, they have a challenge with his integrity. And we can look at that in the next slide. All of them are put together and their reasons. Of course, you see it very, very clear that there are quite a number of statements that come strong for Raila Odinga. He's a Democrat, he's a liberator, he's a nationalist. He's been around for long, so it's time for him to get that chance. And of course, he's experienced in leadership. Those are things that we bring out strong because they come out for him. But for William Ruto, what stands out for all reasons is that he has a clear plan. He has a manifesto. Those who would want to vote for Ruto clearly say that he has a plan. But again, at 9%, he connects very well with the common mwananchi. That again is a point that comes out strong for him. At 2.9%, Wajakoya's plan is, those who would vote for him also feel Wajakoya has a plan, a clear one for that matter. And for Maure, the 0.2% also feel he has some plan and is also development conscious. But when we look at the reasons for not voting these candidates, the reasons that have been given, and we've put them across, so the 55% who would not vote for Raila, the 53% who would not vote for Raila, 32% tell us that this candidate is old. 10% tell us that I wouldn't vote for him because he's a government project. And of course, his manifesto is not as clear. Those are those who would not vote for Raila. Those who would not vote for Ruto, Dr. Ruto on the other hand, tell us that the corruption allegations against him is an integrity issue that stands against us thinking about him. And then, of course, there are other smaller percentages. There is temperament, he's hot-tempered or hostile, he's a disrespectful candidate, he's not a safe pair of hands, he's hard, not viewed as a Democrat, he's hateful, and the reasons are there, 5% or thereabout. For Mwaura Wahiga, he is not known. That's what stands out for him. And for Wajakoya, quite some interesting reasons here. His very clear plan is being seen as anti-ethical or illegal. It's an acceptable practice, and that is 96% of those who would not vote him, 97% actually, says that bank farming is not something that is acceptable. And they also say that his manifesto is not that convincing. And then everything about his manifesto is impractical. So the reasons for voting for these candidates come out very clear, and their detractions also come out very clear. And this is what voters have told us in verbatim. Just picked them and analyzed them and presented them here. So we talked about undecided voters, and we want to just go through the undecided voters and find out who are these undecided voters and where are they. So if you compare this sample, just cross-tab it by the total sample that we covered, these undecided voters, you see, most of them are found in the rural. Incidentally, that's quite high. In terms of the age, undecided voters, the older population, that is the 55 and above. Now, I need to stop there and say this. The youth have voter apathy. The older are undecided. A bigger proportion were undecided. Now, that's a very interesting dynamic in this particular election. In terms of gender, females are more undecided. And in terms of the regions, Western Kenya stands out, and specifically Bungoma County, where we have a high number, in fact, the highest in the country of undecided voters is from Western Kenya, and a bit of it from Coast. We think the other regions are well sitting pretty, ready for the elections. And that could be the strategy for the week, focusing on where we have more of the undecided voters. We had a question in this survey where, just besides who candidates, who voters would vote for, we asked a question on what is your perception, or what, irrespective of who you vote for, who do you think will win this election? So irrespective of who you vote for on that particular day. So this is a very perceptual question. Who would you vote for? Now, this is interesting because we have cross-tabulated by the candidates that they would vote for at the top, and now who they think will win the election. Now, at total level, everybody thinks, or 54% of the voter population thinks Raila will win this election. 43% think William Ruto will win the election. Only 1.6% think Wajakoya will win this election, and 0.1% think Mwaure Wahiga would win this election. But let us look at Raila Odinga's voters, those who would vote for Raila Odinga. 97% think he will win the election, but 3% of those who would vote for Raila think William Ruto will win this election. When you look at William Ruto supporters, 8% think Raila will win this election. When you look at those who told us that they don't know or they're undecided, 62% think Raila will win this election. And those who refused to answer us, 54% think that Raila will win this election. So in one way or another, we think even with the undecided or undeclared voters, we can still feel where their intention is. And if we go by this result, then the perception, the voter perception out there is that Raila will win this election at the first round. Finally, we presented to voters some statements or some particular assertions and asked them, who do you think, or which presidential candidate do you feel his government will fulfill all these particular statements, one by one? And we exposed all the 4 presidential candidates. And because of the numbers, we just picked the top 2. If you look at this, it is very, very clear that for most of the statements, voters feel that Raila Odinga is better placed to promote gender inclusivity, to foster relations between Kenya and neighboring countries, is more poised to advance and support devolution, to enhance the image of Kenya globally, is more predisposed to fight corruption, and the like. But there are 2 particular statements where these 2 candidates seem to meet. When you look at enhancing opportunities for Kenyans, both of them are almost playing at the same level, and creating opportunities for the youth, none of them stands out. They both kind of tie. However, the perception is that their level of dealing with debt for them, both of them, is still low. The commitment to deal with debt is still low. But Dr. William Ruto is perceived to come in and favor certain ethnic groups over others. So again, when you look at these statements, the 2 candidates do not meet anywhere. Each one of them stands out very clear with their perceptions. We have seen each of these candidates stand out very clear with their strengths and also their weaknesses.